Very good afternoon to everybody. For me, the temptation to come to Surat was certainly for the conference and to meet the professional friends out here in Surat. The larger temptation was, you guess what? Surat no jaman. Wow. And after having the lunch, I was telling my colleagues, કે હવે કોઈ સાંભળવા આવશે આટલું સરસ જમ્યા પછી તો એકદમ મન તૃપ્ત થઈ જાય. Then there is no desire, such a situation of satiation, and even thereafter we have so many delegates out here that shows that we are hungry professionals. And that is, friends, the subject that I have been taking here. Igniting innovation in the professional landscape. We all are professionals. And what I find very, very exciting in Gujarat is that chartered accountants, most of them also do practice. You know, just at Tisco, there used to be an advertisement in Tata Iron and Steel. We also produce steel. Most of the chartered accountants in Gujarat have, various businesses. They are great entrepreneurs. And since they are chartered accountant, out of passion, they also practice. So we have business professionals in the state of Gujarat. And let me tell you, the need of the hour in the professional landscape is business professionals who are professionals in terms of the governance in thought and who have a business mind. Friends, this presentation which I'll be taking and some of the slides I'll be running very fast also. Actually, I can do this for 3-4 hours, but then you will actually sleep. So I want to restrict it to about 50 minutes, and maybe there are anything that I can, interact with you. I like to keep 10 minutes for that. So I'll run through some of the slides faster. But to set the context, we need to understand that what is the big message? And a businessman looks at, first of all, the big message. The first thing that we need to internalize is we are not the world's 5th largest economy. We are the 3rd largest economy already in terms of PPP. And we accountants understand apple-to-apple comparison. PPP is apple-to-apple comparison of the economic prosperity of different countries, and we are already 3rd. And by 2047, as we desire to be number 2, actually we would be number 1 in terms of PPP if we achieve what we want to achieve. And that's where point number 2, as you see on the screen, becomes extremely important, that chartered accountants and the other professionals are India's responsible growth architects and catalysts in this journey during the Amrit Kal. We are much larger than what we perceive ourselves about. We are not chartered accountants who is going into the microdynamics of a transaction or accounting or tax. We are business CAs who looks into the overall growth of the nation, growth of the economy, and that's the second most point. And the third aspect which we need to internalize is that time has come for the Indian professional service firms to think big and act bigger. This is one area, as we proceed further, you will see that we really seriously need to ponder about. The most fundamental question, whether we are doing business or practice or both, we want to succeed in business, we want to earn fees and money, we want to make profit, What is the objective? The fundamental objective cannot be to be successful in business. It cannot be to earn more money. It cannot be to make more profit. The fundamental objective should be growth by contributing to the progress of the nation. If our growth is in the direction of the growth of the nation, then it's worth it. Otherwise, it is worthless. And money, revenue, profit, all would consequentially follow. You do not need them as your objectives. I came here, I was not aware, but I got a surprise gift. Two senior professionals came down to me and they said that, sir, you had taught us income tax. I used to be a teacher in CA final taxation during the period 85 to 91. And two senior most professionals in Surat came and said, sir, whatever we know in income tax, how to read income tax, how to analyze, and how to look in between the line, we learned from you. You do not know what a satisfaction it is when you hear such statement. But I told them that today morning I met few professionals of Surat over here, and I told them about my coaching period. And I said that 3,000 students qualified under me in a period of 5 years, 85 to 90. And I was very proud initially that 3,000 students have qualified. 3,000 chartered accountants are my kids. But after a few years when I came into practice, I realized that actually I did not have 3,000 students, I had 3,000 teachers. Actually, they taught me taxation. Is the perception. What I am trying to say is that you have to understand the perception. It's the thought process which defines your journey of life, it defines your journey of profession. So, are we looking at growth for self-monetization, self-gain, self-prosperity, or we want to dedicate ourselves to the cause of the nation, to the cause of the profession, and rest could be taken care of? That difference is extremely important. So, coming now to the professionals as we are, that assuming we seek to grow, there are some fundamental ingredients that we need to be local, we need to be national, we need to be international. The days of I, me, myself are fast disappearing. This is one thing that we need to understand very strongly. That generally we chartered accountants are, what happens that after so much of effort we qualify. So once we qualify, we feel, oh wow, we have achieved everything in the world. And then that I, me and myself start developing very strong. That is now disappearing. It has to be a very strong team, which is local, national, international. Else, the type of services which is required by today's businesses, by today's governments, today's regulators, very, very difficult to provide. We need to plug into a knowledge network. We are privileged that we have Mr. Durgesh Kabra here. He spoke about how the knowledge is going to play a critical role, how technology is going to play a critical role. What is very, very challenging is that many of us feel that technology is for the youngsters. Now, ये नहीं चलेगा. Knowledge is something which we acquired at the time we passed our finals. अभी practice में तो चलता है, ये नहीं चलेगा. Knowledge has to be a continuous exercise. Knowledge gaining has to be a continuous exercise. Technology upgradation is something which is extremely important. And at the above everything, we need to have a extremely superior brand. Now, any client, when they want to get any critical assignment, to be done by anybody, they would say who you are, what you have been doing. Have you done similar work for others? What their experience has been. Now, all this culminate into the brand. Chartered accountants cannot publicize, cannot do advertisement. Their brand moves by the word of mouth. And their work, their credentials is their brand. Now, that is very, very strongly required. So, the question is that if we really want to have all these three, we are very clear, as you see, all of you would be with me that all these three things are required. How can we get that? A, we need, work on each one of them, need years to build it. So, somebody is expert in income tax, somebody is expert in GST, somebody is expert in accounts, somebody is expert in valuation, somebody is expert in insolvency resolution. And everybody feels that, no, we need other things, so we start gaining knowledge about others, start bringing practice about others. It will need a time beyond a lifetime. It is not possible. You want to grow your firm. So I was telling in the morning that any small or mid-sized firm or even a large firm, when they want to grow, so they want to add a team, the challenge comes that you recruit somebody, you train somebody, by the time you feel comfortable, he wants to leave. You recruit 2 and 3 goes. Now, the number at the end of the year doesn't grow. It's not so easy to grow organically. The solution is inorganic growth. And in inorganic growth, we can achieve something possibly which we cannot achieve over decades. And that is where we need to remind ourselves of what our Honorable Prime Minister told on CA Day, 1st July of 2017. He gave a call to all of us to develop big 4 Indian professional firms. You could see his words in the screen, but I will still read so that it enters more stronger in your heart. Friends, there are 4 highly respected audit firms in the world. These are called Big 4. We are nowhere in this Big 4. You are capable of it, and there is no dearth of talent either. All of my friends, can you set a target for yourself? If India were to gain respect in this world, then when India will celebrate its 75 years of its independence in 2022, we will convert this Big 4 into Big 8. And out of this Big 8, 4 big firms will belong to the people who are sitting here before me. Friends, this is our dream. And it's not difficult given the reputation and the professionalism of our firms. Possibly we got the first Prime Minister who in our country gave a vision that we need big 8 firms, and out of that Big 4 should be the Indian firms. He said, why we have global networks in India, why not India-owned global network? Friends, it all starts with a thought. There is a conviction to the thought. When the thought and the conviction merge, then a vision develops. A vision, when implemented despite all obstacles, it becomes a reality. And we certainly need to do this. When World Congress 2022 was hosted in India in November 22, as you know, thanks to Durgesh ji and other colleagues in the Central Council and motivation by Honorable Prime Minister as well as government officials, we had the privilege to launch the first ever India-owned global network in the World Congress, where 9,000 professionals physically heard the launch and about 16,000 were virtually listening. And the appreciation for that has been overwhelming. Friends, with that event, and for which huge credit has to be given to our institute for organizing that with such precision, such perfection, we first felt that this is a great thing happening to DSC Desai Hari Bhakti. But we realized soon that DSC Desai Hari Bhakti to khali nimit hatu. It was a movement of the nation that started. It was a movement not just of DSC Desai Hari Bhakti, it was a journey of every professional of the country. The reactions that we got, the love and affection, the warmth that we got, so many professionals came down and told that this is the first time in our lifetime that somebody is recognizing small and medium professionals. And that to come from you has been something which has been the biggest satisfaction in our lives. So over here, what is extremely important, friends, is realization that A, the journey that DSC Desai Hari Bhakti has started is a journey of the nation. And while Prime Minister told we need 4 big Indian firms, if you really ask my honest opinion, we need 100 big Indian firms. That is the opportunity in next 25 years. And today I have come to invite you to join our journey, which is the journey of the nation. Also to share with you what we have been doing. So many of you over here are entrepreneurial. Please start a parallel journey and let us grow together. So we need to understand that why thinking big is the need of the hour. What is the Indian reality? Today, all these bullets can take, individual time frames. We'll not go into that, but the last quote that I'll just take you, that the word big is small for India, be it bullet train, Vande Bharat, new airports. Now, I have seen foreigners coming to the Mumbai International Airport and they spend 10-15 minutes taking pictures of different places, And there was a time when we used to go to London or New York and see the airport. And now when we go to London and New York, we feel ki kahan aa gaye? Because Mumbai is far, far better. And many such airports are coming up. The Boeing aircraft deal which you have heard, Prime Ministers of 2 countries are saying that this deal from India is going to transform their economy. 15 years back, when we used to go overseas, somebody meets us and they ask where you are from. You say India. They say, oh, India. And now if you go and again somebody asks and you say you are from India, they say, oh, you are from India. આખો અવાજ બદલાઈ ગયો છે, રણકો બદલાઈ ગયો છે. અને મોદી સાહેબ એકલા નથી. Every Indian is respected today world over. You see any big organization, the leader is Indian. Any big achievement, there is an Indian behind it. And now to many countries is led by Indians. So it is this which is very important, the roads, the metro, the renewable energy industries and so on. India is a happening place where people are talking not in lakhs and crores, not in even thousands of crores, but in tens of thousands of crores. અને આપણે સાહેબ પ્રેક્ટિસ કેટલી? તો કે ના સારું ચાલે છે. We have to really transform to this level of business. We have to really gear up to be able to move hand in hand with this growth in economy, with growth in business, with growth of nation. And believe me, friends, we are capable to do it. It's all in mind. There is no pollution outside, the pollution is inside. We need to overcome so many complex thoughts that we have inside that is, keeping us around in a fragmented position. So for survival and success of CAs, and friends, I have tried to put my heart into these thoughts in a way that it connects with each one of you who are in practice and who are aspiring to be growing. What do you need? You need a strong leadership. You need high caliber partners and teams. You need continuous learning and development. You need cutting edge technology, pan-India global presence, multidisciplinary skills and competence, multi-thousand-person years of experience, enhanced visibility through superior brand and PR, credible size and reach, strong integrity and ethics, research and quality, best-in-class infrastructure. Do we have this? And if we don't have it, but we have the dream that we want to be big, we want to grow, it doesn't happen. And individually, is it possible to have it? It is certainly not possible. Now, there are a number of professionals, in Mumbai also, in Delhi also, in the larger cities. Small firm they have, very senior professionals, one or two people. Anything which comes to them is only advisory or opinion, fine. It's like a counsel. But if you really want to be a professional service firm who wants to partner with business, you need all this. And all this at one go, you do not have 5 years or 10 years times to develop them. And above all these qualities, as I said and I repeat again, and this image, I get thoroughly impressed by this. I don't need to speak. As you read the word India over here, you understand that a firm commitment to dedicate oneself to the cause of the nation. We need to grow in technology, we want to go. We need to grow in governance, we should be there. We need to grow in professionalism, we should be there. We need to improve systems and processes, we should be there. We need our business to give a robust backbone, we should be there. What are the requirements of the nation for the growth of the nation, for growth of the economy, for growth of the profession? We should dedicate. And you would have seen in last couple of years, even the transformation in our institute, the professionalism that we find in various networking conferences, various knowledge conferences that is happening, unbelievable. But are we transforming ourselves in sync with that? This is a question we need to ask ourselves. Are we present in the conference and going back at the end of the conference and we are the same person the next day? Or we go back with a resolve that tomorrow will not be same as today and yesterday, it will be different. That is the resolve I would call upon you to take today. And you can remember today's day as the most eventful day in your life. And there is no magic. You all can do it. It's sheer hard work, sheer commitment, honesty, integrity of thought. We'll rush through some of the slides. So, the way in which you can achieve what you need to achieve in order to be a person of relevance and reckoning possibly would be inorganic growth. Inorganic growth can happen by acquisition, can happen by integration, can happen by a network, but any of these options that you avail should be something which really brings you together with other core competency professionals. What are the benefits when you think of inorganic growth? And you know, the mind needs to be first freed because we don't have a mindset to come together. We want our I, me, myself independence. But it is not independence, friend, it is dependence. That is worse than the East India Company dependence also, I can tell you that. I was much happier, you know, when I was just Dilip B. Desai. Then in Calcutta, I became DB Desai, and I had about 100, 150 professionals. Then my colleague Manoj called me to Mumbai, 1,000+ team, and anything I want to do, I have to think 10 times. My independence is completely gone. I was much more independent, much happier. But today, I am able to contribute much better. Income is not relevant. But today, if Ratan Tata feels that no, this is a great service, or if Neeraj Bajaj feels that unbelievable has happened, that is something which is completely different. And for that I, me, myself has to be sacrificed. It's a great fun to be I, me, myself, but that far no further. The benefits are stronger growth and structural approach, a new and better identity, exponential growth opportunity. Now there are so many businesses where the reckoning is your size, your presence, your revenue, your competence. Just last week, Government of Maharashtra has come out for an empanelment for the IT services. And government is now taking initiative that earlier what was restricted only to the big 4 firms, now the Indian firms are also becoming eligible. If you are empaneled, and this is true for not just Government of Maharashtra, all state government, central government, everywhere, the earlier empaneled consultants have been able to bill more than 100 crore a year for the IT services to one state government. Such opportunities are there in Gujarat, in all other states. Do we have the bandwidth to do this? Do we have the competence to do this? Do we have desire to do it? Can we do it? All these questions become much smaller if 1 is replaced by 11, 11 is replaced by 111, 111 is replaced by 1111. We can do so many things. And that is possible only by inorganic growth. I would briefly share with you the DIC journey that we had, and the objective is to very humbly tell you what journey we had of 71 years, and if anything of that could be useful to you in your own journey also, I would feel that that is something which is a big honor and privilege. With the 71 years, it is known as an institution, and there are any professional opportunity which are restricted to maybe generally big 4. they are always eligible, they are considered, and in many cases they are considered in preference to any other professional firm. The question is, what makes it an institution? And this is very important. Strong ethics, strong trust, strong focus on quality, and so many things, as you could see on the screen, that comes. The foundation pillars are ethics, integrity, quality, and collaboration. Since 1951 till today, there has been a respect for the professional competence beyond one's own self. Be it Vishnu Haribhakti who started the firm, or Sailesh Haribhakti who was successor, or me and other partners today. We always are hungry for collaborations and good quality people, ethical people, ambitious people, and people who want to serve. The motto is to serve, not to earn. Earning should be consequential. Vision 2026, when we complete our 75 years, is to be 3 times in size in terms of numbers, in revenue, everything. And we are in that journey. How do we ignite innovation in the professional landscape? And this was a theme also in my World Congress, and where I suggested that this is possible by having a network which is very, very unique. And this is something which is a model. You may want to join this journey, and subject to our norms, you would be most welcome. We have a process of evaluation could be seen. B, you want to have your own network. Possibly this would really help. You can certainly improve it further, but it could be a good beginning point for you. So transformation is something which is extremely important. We cannot be same as what we were yesterday, tomorrow. We need to be different. So the new innovative network that we are saying, that there are 9 gems of innovations I have been talking about. The first one is SMP focused network, where there are large firms at strategic locations and SMPs all over. So friends, what happens that, let's say today you have a firm which is in Surat, and maybe you have a branch in Ahmedabad, and maybe, Bombay, few other locations. You want to grow. Ideally, you should be present all over India and beyond. But it is not possible for you to open branch, let's say, in all cities, in Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3 cities. So at strategic locations, let there be large firm, your own branch or integrated model, but small and medium practitioners who are locally present and they are competent, they have caliber, but they don't have reach at the national or the global level. So if you connect with the small and medium practitioners, that can create a miracle. During this World Congress, what I realized when we did the research, that more than 90% of the global economy is in the hand of small and medium enterprises in terms of numbers. More than 65% of GDPs, again, is contributed by small and medium enterprises. And the small and medium enterprises are serviced by small and medium professionals. And so far, all networks which have been there, the big networks, they have completely ignored them. Let us unleash the power of small and medium professionals, make them a part of the journey. Of course, it's not an easy journey. To bring them in the governance model is not very easy. But somebody has to take the lead. If they are made to be part of that model, if their vision is broadened, if governance is brought into them, then they are capable to be the best neighborhood. No, I'll not need 15 minutes. I'll finish, don't worry. So they are not required to be then be the one who requires support, they will be the biggest support for you. And this is something which is the most unique proposition, that if you can collaborate, if you are a small and medium practitioner, collaborate with a large firm. If you are a large firm, collaborate with the small and medium practitioners. That can really create a magic, and your reach and your competence can increase. Global Center of Excellence, borderless service organization. That's when the business is borderless, your service model has to be borderless. Multidisciplinary firms, we have the norms which are yet to be grounded. But that is the need of the hour. This is again something very unique, hybrid operating model, consulting, vertical and the regulatory practice should be separated from inception. More and more, the business are growing. There are a lot of regulatory challenges and there are a lot of regulatory complications as well. If the regulatory work and the consulting work could be separated completely, that is something which is extremely important. And with that split, there could be a dual network, and the consulting vertical can be listed. This is something which is again completely transformational. If you see globally, Accenture is a consulting company which is listed, and the market cap of Accenture is around 200 billion US dollars. If we really proceed in an organized manner, this is something which is going to transform the professional service opportunities. Education, skill academy should be very important. There should be a foundation for policy advocacy. I have been telling yesterday I was in Kolkata speaking at the national conference for the students. And to the colleagues I told, the biggest challenge which chartered accountants face today, that a chartered accountant, he or she is the most wanted professional for all the needs of the client. And he is also the most wanted professional by the regulators. कुछ भी होता है, ये chartered accountant था. कुछ भी होता है, he is the chartered accountant. I have not heard many cases of ED visiting the offices of a lawyer, but ED has visited the offices of the biggest chartered accountancy firms you would have known in the news. Anything goes wrong, the blame comes on chartered accountant. A business has failed, the blame comes on chartered accountant. The reason is that we need to have a policy advocacy, strong policy advocacy, where one has to realize that chartered accountant is responsible for the work that he does, and he is adding value, not destroying value. If a business fails, it could always fail for various reasons, but without reason, a chartered accountant cannot be framed. And very often it has been seen that without reason he has been framed. So a strong policy advocacy is something which is very much required. Technology, trust and sustainability. You know what I mean by trust. Sustainability we don't need to talk about, that's the sunrise area of service. What I want to say about a bit, 1 minute, is technology. We need technology in business, and we need business in technology. I repeat, we need technology in business, and we need business in technology. We have a number of our friends who are practicing direct tax, GST. Friends, 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, this entire practice will be technology driven. If it is 10, 15, 20% technology driven today, 5 years, 10 years down the line, it will be 80, 90% technology driven. unless you inherit the technology in that business vertical of yours, we have no future after 5 or 10 years. So technology in business, and then business in technology. Today, clients require a number of areas where cybersecurity, cognitive technology, technological services are required. Now you could say that, this could be given by the technocrats. Answer is no. Chartered accountant understand the business, they understand finance, they understand account, and if they understand technology and provide technological services, then only the requirement of business would be met. So we require technology in business and business in technology. And once we do this, we can do a wonder. And that is my clarion call to you all today, that let us create an unparalleled history today by resolving that we don't want to be tomorrow what we are today. It does not mean that we are not relevant today. It does not mean we are not important today. It does not mean we are not good today. It doesn't mean we are not successful today. But we need to change for better. And we need to radically change for better, because the expectation, demand, and need from us is huge. So this Navratnas, as I call them, are the 9 strong foundation stones of any unique network. And this is the last slide that I would say before I conclude my speech. Friends, you definitely have a bank balance. You have a bank account, you have a bank balance. I may have a few thousands in my bank balance. Some of you would have lakhs, many of you would have crores. But आज के दिन में कोई बोले कि नहीं my बैंक में 1 लाख रुपया है तो बेचारा गरीब है, શું થશે એનું કાલે ભગવાન જાણે. So 1-2 કરોડ રૂપિયા તો nothing. હવે there is another bank account also, I call it time bank. એ ટાઈમ બેંકમાં આપણા જિંદગીના જેટલા દિવસો બચ્યા છે ને એ દિવસો એ બેંકમાં હોય છે. Now how many days are in your time bank? Suppose you are 40, let's say, young, dynamic. So you say that 60 years I'll definitely work. So another 20 years you have in your time bank. 20 years એટલે દાડા કેટલા? 365 into 10 into 2. It is hardly less than 8,000 days. Suppose you say that, no, I will work for 30 years. Very good. 11,000 days. If your bank balance has 11,000 days, or 8,000, or 3,000, can you really afford to waste even a single day? And this is something which is extremely important, that please realize your bank balance in your time bank. The most valuable asset that you have is this balance. If you exploit it properly, life would be worth living. And that's the call I request should be taken. And then we all will be together to the future. That's the theme that I say to myself and everybody. Thank you so much, friends.